Thank you to everybody for joining us. January 31st. Can't believe January is over and we are getting ready here for baseball. I know, especially in Georgia, in Metro Atlanta, you all are probably as active as any of us in terms of training and getting out there and getting ready for the season. So we're truly excited to get started in 2024. I do like to use this call to take a second to look back at 2023. Obviously, LakePoint, our busiest year probably ever, just in terms of getting games covered, working high level tournaments, and I can't express our appreciation from the staff to you all for everything that you do and everything you did in 2023. I see a lot of familiar names on the guest list here, obviously some new names, but just wanted to take that second to really thank everyone who chipped in 2023. There's just no way that we get things done without all of you and without all the effort that you put forth, whether it's an an extra game or a day you don't want to be there and you kind of get through it just so that we can get through the day. And we really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to kind of more of the same here in 2024. We're continuing to move umpires through Lake Point up to college baseball, which is a really exciting thing for us and for the staff to see umpires improving, seeing umpires who are at Lake Point, getting a large number of state tournament games in GHSA and excelling in Marietta and other groups in the area. So again, really exciting stuff and for the umpires, and but unfortunately that means for Wilson and Todd and the staff, that means that as all of you continue to progress, it means we need to fill in and start to get some new people involved in our association and start to replace the people who are doing so well that they just don't have as much time to commit. So I welcome all of the newer people, and certainly hello to our returning staff. Before I continue, I wanted to give Todd Marler, the president of United Travel, and obviously kind of hometown there in Atlanta, a second to give his thoughts on 2023 before we move on to 2024.
Alex, thanks. Thank you all for taking the time to be here tonight. I've probably seen most of y'all in the last few weeks at some training and have had a chance to say thank you to those that I have. But, just to echo Alex's words of, we couldn't do this without y'all. Y'all did a phenomenal job last year. And we're looking at growth at Lake Point with potentially some more offsites. Just kind of a quick note, they have sold out already for the summer. If you go on the website, all of the summer's closed out already. In talking with the leadership of PBR and at Lake Point, part of that they contribute to y'all. So be proud of that. I know I am. We as an entire company are very proud of the product that we continue to be able to put on the field and the quality people that we get to work with, week in, week out. So really want to say thank y'all to all of y'all. And just a quick note, I saw a couple of guys on here, Shout and of course, made his pilgrimage down to Harry's this past month to be down there for umpire school. But I saw Jet and I believe I saw Gibby on here. Just congratulations to you guys. Just got finished at school, and we're excited to talk to y'all and see how that went for you. So I'll let Alex get back to work and we'll go from there. But thank you all very much, and we're looking forward to 2024.
Thanks, Todd. So, we'll have some minor changes in 2024 that we'll kind of discuss, but certainly the pattern that has been built and the infrastructure that's been built in Atlanta and at Lake Point won't change really any. Obviously, with the majority of the games being at LakePoint, a certain number of off sites that all of you who go to those we really really appreciate. And then at some point in the call, I know Todd will just mention the spring league at East Cobb, and then also Sunbelt. We will continue to have and continue to try to push umpires into and give them opportunities to excel and get ready for the best baseball possible. But our model will continue to be to try to treat the umpires as well as we possibly can to work within the system and get games covered, create a place that people really want to come to work. Um, most of the time, most of the fun is out there in that locker room. We get through the games and obviously we enjoy the time on the field, but I think it's the camaraderie that's been built behind the fence there that really keeps people coming back, and we will continue to establish that and reestablish that as the years go on. I want to give a special shout out to Wilson Marlar. He as Todd's role has grown and gotten a little wider. Wilson was kind of thrown into the fire there, and he's really done a great job. That's a tribute not only to him and his attentiveness and learning the job and learning how to do it, but also to all of you who, knowing that it was Wilson's first full-time year there, you did what you could to help him, and Todd and I really appreciate that. It's a team effort. Todd says we couldn't do it without you, and that's something that I've said back since 2019. I mean, it's great if we have a bunch of people who can schedule baseball games, but if you don't show up and work them and do the best you can to be out there, there's certainly no company and no United Umpires. I want to give Avery Hunt, who I think is on the call, a few moments before we switch over to him. I'll say one of the things I kind of say all the time. The support we receive from prep baseball and bullpen tournaments kind of all over the country, it doesn't work like that everywhere. I will tell you that from being many, many, many places, the support that they give us. Sure, are there times where they probably want to kill us and we probably want to kill them? Sure. But when you look at the overall support we get from them, and the way that they treat us and treat us as part of the family and part of the ultimate product being put out there, again, that doesn't happen everywhere. So I always want to point that out and make sure you guys understand that, because I know there's some that have only worked here in their careers, and maybe you don't realize what it ultimately is out there in some other places. So before I continue to just babble and babble, I will introduce Avery.
What's up, everybody? I'm Avery. I'm our PBR LP tournament director. Just took over our high school stuff this year for the first time. Just kind of bouncing off what Alex and Todd have said. I want to say a big thank you to everybody that was with us in 23. Without you, sorry, my dogs are freaking out. Without you guys and girls, we wouldn't be able to do what we do and put on, the best events in the country. For the new people, look forward to seeing you guys out there in 24. But yeah, just kind of the same thing. You guys are the biggest representation of PBR tournaments outside of myself, Garrett Ackerson, who's on this call, that is somehow labeled as Avery Hunt too. You guys and girls are the biggest, representation of us. You go toward the tournament experience just as much as we do. So just want to say a big thank you to everybody for 23 and look forward to a great 24. And if you guys need anything at all while you're at LakePoint, or even if you're not, feel free to find, somebody with all of our PBR gear on, and we will be glad to help you out any way we can.
Thanks, Avery. Appreciate you, man. Hope to see you sometime in the summer. All right, so as we move into the call here, you'll hear a little bit more from me later in the call, but some of the other people that you will hear from, kind of an introduction of our staff. Todd's already spoken a little bit tonight. You guys obviously know him. Wilson Marlar will give some information out. He's really our director of ops down in Atlanta, as kind of introduced. And three other people that you'll hear from: Brian DeBrow, our director of training. I think he's got a video prepared for us. Rudy Fernback is with us this year as our director of development, recruiting, anything in that realm. We've kind of gone through a couple people in that role in the past couple of years, but I think we've really struck on the right guy here, and someone that has been with me for a really, really long time. And then director of merchandise, Kate is with us tonight to talk a little bit about uniform and how to get stuff if you need it. Last but not least, Jim Clayton gets to sit on 1,000 of these calls for college travel and all the things, and we really appreciate him sticking with us and making these Zooms work so that we can get through this and get a good start to our season. So without further ado, I will introduce you all to Rudy Fernback, who will talk a little bit about recruitment.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. Welcome, guys, girls, everybody on the call. I just want to echo what Todd and Alex touched on about growth, how LakePoint has been so successful thanks to you. Alex touched on it a little bit. A lot of guys are moving on. A lot of guys are promoting themselves, getting into bigger roles, bigger and better things. And we need to fill the ranks. Our best recruiting tool across our companies is you, the umpires. Spread the word, be positive, talk about United and the experience that you had. Talk about how great Wilson and Todd have been at LakePoint and how it's a great place to work. It really is. The better we are at our job, assigning baseball games, making sure all the games are covered, making sure Wilson has lots of options, the better it is for you. The more successful LakePoint will be, the more successful you will be. And, I think that's real important. So, recruit, talk about United, talk about LakePoint, and, we'll help to build the ranks, and keep the company moving forward. One other thing I want to talk about, and this comes from sort of a personal perspective, is mentorship. For those of you that are on the call that have been around for a few years, we're asking you to not only work the games, but, be a good partner, be a good person, and be a mentor. Help the new people, help them be successful, help them to have a great experience like you've had. So if you're a newer umpire, find your guy. Find the guy that you can go to, have discussions about baseball, have discussions about umpiring that can help you be successful and help you get through the season. So take advantage of the training that, Todd and Wilson are offering down there and how great it is. And last but not least, when you find that guy to help you, take the feedback. Be willing to take the answer that you might not like, but it's going to help you get better. So I hope everybody has a great season at LakePoint. I'm sure I will see everybody at some point down there. Like I said at the beginning, recruit. So thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rudy. Appreciate you, man. So just a couple of details that I want to work through, kind of the nitty gritty of some payment stuff and fees and all that kind of stuff that we do every year. So just so everyone knows, today's January 31st. 1099s are out. They are through Arbiter Pay for 2023 as they were for 2022. So if you log into Arbiter, go into kind of whatever that section is for payroll, you will be able to download your 1099. Keep in mind the way Arbiter has shifted to doing things, everything gets lumped under their TIN. So if you work for Marietta in Arbiter and they pay through Arbiter Pay, and I'm not saying they do, it's just an example, or we pay through Arbiter Pay, or any number of schools, leagues that you work elsewhere pays through Arbiter Pay, that's all lumped under one 1099. So if you see a number and you're like, wow, that's more than I thought I worked at LakePoint, why is this number so high? Just keep in mind that there are many things factoring into that, and it's only one 1099 now. So that being said, as you've gotten used to Arbiter Pay, we are actually going to make a payment switch for 2024. And you might ask me, why are we doing that? It seemed to be so easy, and things we can see when our games are paid, what games are paid. Well, there's a couple things. So number one, I think we've found a company that will get you all paid a little bit faster. I think there's some weeks I release on Monday night. It maybe hits you on Tuesday, but you really can't get access to the money till maybe Wednesday or even Thursday. So I think we've found a company here that we can release on Monday evening, and hopefully you can have money either on a debit card or in your bank account by Tuesday. And I think that's really important. So we are very early in the process here with Every. So the name of the company, Todd, you can show that again, is Every, Everee. And there's really nothing for you all to do right now in terms of onboarding. And by that, I mean right now, this moment. So don't rush to do anything, just relax. What's going to happen is we are going to send an email out to everyone that is scheduled in 2024 already or was scheduled in 2023. And through that email, the onboarding process will be described to you. We've been kind of working out some kinks with some smaller groups that we do payroll for before we get this out to kind of the whole UTU and UCU circuit, because that becomes hundreds and probably over 1,000 people. So we started with a small group. Today, I spent most of my day fighting through some kinks that I think we finally got worked out. And basically, we are going to try to get some of this stuff out to you here very shortly. So I think we have done it with our employees, our admin people. For that was like 10 or 12. So that was kind of the first round. And we were really successful. Everyone I talked to, Todd Wilson, Witt up in Indianapolis, these guys all said, probably less than 10 minutes to get on board. And with this functionality, you'll have the opportunity to either put in a bank account for a direct deposit, or the other option, if it's better for you, or if you just don't have a bank account that you want things deposited into, is you can order a debit card, and that debit card is then funded with the money on a weekly basis, and you have that debit card in your possession. So no fees to you guys in this regard from Every or anything like that. I think it'll cut down the amount of time. The one thing that we will continue to generate in Arbiter is the pay sheets. So we won't pay through Arbiter Pay, but we will continue to generate those pay sheets so that if you have the interest, and many of you do, and the diligence to go back on a weekly basis and, match the total that your direct deposit with your amount in Arbiter, you certainly can do that. We didn't want that to be eliminated in this process, because now you can go back and say, okay, I worked 8, I got paid for 8, I can see the deductions for whatever they might be, and all of the numbers make sense. So again, there's an app version, there's a desktop version. I recommend using the app version if you can at all. It's very good, it's very quick. And if you're wanting to opt for the debit card, you must use the app version. That's kind of what we've figured out through some of the kinks here in the last few days. So seems a little daunting, but we will certainly get through it. Like I said, I'm going to start onboarding Atlanta here probably either tonight or tomorrow. And that gives us, for a lot of you, quite a long time before you're going to work your first game to get it figured out. But for those that are going to be working in mid-February, we still have about 2 weeks to get it figured out. I would ask, as soon as you get the information, get yourself onboarded. That way when we're swamped in May, June, July, we're not worried about helping people on board and things like that. And in the future, this is the same application you'll get paid through. You'll also get your 1099s through. So this will be kind of a one-stop shopping for payroll moving forward. So again, more information to come. Wanted to certainly announce it to all of you, and obviously wanted to make sure that I was very clear that your 2023 1099s are still in Arbiter, and we will continue to still assign the games in Arbiter, so you will have access there. We have one increase in game fees for 2024. Our 145s are going to go up to 65 an umpire, so we'll be at 70 for the 2 hours and 65 for the hour 45s. Just with the changes there, especially the 13s and 14s changing to that hour 45 in the spring, we wanted to make sure that we got a bump there for all of you, because those games, obviously, although they have a 145, could still be 7 inning games if they go past the time. We will not change anything really in terms of registration fees. It'll still be that 105 number at $15 a week. And there's no dues between March 31st and May 21st. So we take that kind of busy time in the spring when everybody's kind of all over the place, and we take some time off from dues there and registration fees. And the way you will see that is in Every, you will see a column for registration or dues or whatever it might be called in their app. So if you made 100 and let's say you made 500 in a weekend, we're going to deduct 15 that week. You'll actually see gross of 500, which you can then match to your pay sheet in Arbiter. And then you'll see a $15 deduction, and then you'll see the direct deposit of 485 hit. So trying to create as much transparency as we can and as much of a trail for all of you to follow and be able to work through everything. If you are new to us, there is a registration form out there. Todd and Wilson and Rudy will kind of work you through that. It's just the collection of some information. If there's a question about any social security number, you do not need to give us a social security number on anything for a registration form for us. Every will ask you for a social security number. It is encrypted. It is double authenticated. Whatever the words are, it's a highly safe system, and it stops me from seeing your social security numbers, which at the end of the day, carrying some of that data through the years, even before the last couple, has always been something that I was never really comfortable with. So we're trying to create as much situations where bank account numbers and social security numbers are blind as possible. So that's kind of the wrap on the interesting game fee registration fee piece. And I will turn it over to Todd, who I think is going to have a message from Brian here. You're on mute.
All right, guys, give me 1 second here. Let me get this.
Guys, as Todd's getting ready there, if there are any questions that you think apply to the entire group, just with a bunch of people on the call, we don't want to open up all these mics, but if you want to put any questions in the chat that you think benefit the whole group, please do it. And at some point here, whether we get a second in the middle or have some time at the end, we'll get them answered for you.
All right, here we go.
Hello all. Last time I was talking about my season preparation, we were dealing with our visual training, making sure that we're ready to track that baseball to all parts of the strike zone. Today, I want to switch it up a little bit and talk about some mindset preparation. So what do we mean by that? Well, we deal with a lot of stress on the field as umpires. We're out there in a team of 2, 3, or 4, and we're taking incoming fire from all sides. And we've got to be able to be mentally tough and resilient enough to handle that and still officiate the game the best way possible. So, how do we achieve that? Well, I've discovered some things about myself and some things that help me to maximize my resiliency during the season, and I want to share those with you. Those things are going to be breath work, self compassion, and positive self talk. So, let's jump right in to breath work. And what we're going to focus on here is the physiological sigh. We're going to throw it to a video.
The physiological sigh is a pattern of breathing that we all engage in deep sleep when levels of carbon dioxide in our bloodstream get too high. We, or our dogs, you can see your dog do this, will do a double inhale followed by an extended exhale. Children or adults, for that matter, that are sobbing and lose their breath, so to speak, will also do a double inhale, exhale. That's the spontaneous execution of what we call the physiological sigh. The reason it works so well to relax us is because it offloads a lot of carbon dioxide all at once. Now, when we do a double inhale, so I'll do this now twice through my nose, or you could do this, or you could do it through your mouth, but it works best through the nose. It's inhale, and then you sneak a little bit more air in at the very end. When you do that, you reinflate those little sacs. And when you exhale, then you discard all the carbon dioxide at once. So the simple way to describe this protocol is that unless you are underwater, you do a double inhale followed by an extended exhale, and you offload the maximum amount of carbon dioxide. And we found in our laboratory, and other laboratories have found, that just 1, 2, or 3 of those physiological sighs brings your level of stress down very, very fast.
Feels better. I'm ready for the rest of the presentation. Let's move on to self-compassion. And when I talk about self-compassion, what I mean is being forgiving of yourself, being forgiving of the feelings that are coming up. So let's take a look at another video.
Self-compassion is an amazing source of strength and emotional resilience. And it's funny because a lot of people are afraid to be self-compassionate because they think it's weak, right? Self-compassion is for sissies. If you look at the research, you'll think again, because we know that people who are more self-compassionate have much more resilience to get through difficult times. Just to give one small example, we did a study of veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. We measured their self-compassion levels, and we also measured whether or not they developed post-traumatic stress disorder. And what we found is soldiers' levels of self-compassion was more predictive of whether or not they developed PTSD 1 year later than how much combat exposure they faced. So think about that for a second, what that says. That says it doesn't matter as much what happens to you as how do you relate to yourself when times are difficult. Are you an inner ally or an inner enemy? And most people are inner enemies. That voice in their head is constantly cutting them down, saying you're not good enough, you screwed up, I hate you. All these voices in our head, we're constantly harming ourselves. What happens when you have a voice instead that supports you, that says, hey, I love you anyway, it's okay, I'm here for you, I'll support you, what do you need right now? When that's the voice inside your head, it's an incredible source of strength and resilience, and that's what the research shows.
So for me, self-compassion boils down to this key phrase. It's okay that I am X, that I'm anxious, that I'm excited, that I'm nervous. Forgiving yourself for feeling the thing that you're feeling. If you try to combat that feeling, if you try to bury it down, you're not going to be able to address it. You're not going to be able to develop the resiliency you need to deal with that feeling. And something really, really outstanding happens when you're forgiving with yourself. And that is, you end up being very forgiving with other people. And we need to relate to a lot of people on the field in an understanding way, and if we can be forgiving of ourselves, that's going to bleed over into how we deal with them. And I really would bring my own journey with self-compassion to the table here as an example for everyone. And that is, I used to think that because I was so hard on myself, right? I had these high expectations, and when I didn't meet them, I'd be really hard on myself. That gave me license to be hard on everyone else. And that's just really not the case, because not only do you rub people the wrong way, you also minimize their performance, right? If you're being judgmental of your partners, and you're not creating an empowering working environment, you're not maximizing what people can get out of themselves. And that's what we want to do on the cruise that we're on, is maximize everyone's performance. So while we do want to be critical of ourselves and we want to take a look at the things that we can do better, we have to be forgiving in that process as well. And hopefully that bleeds over into how we deal with other people. Last but not least is positive self-talk. And this is something that we've been talking about for a while with our training, but let's take a look at another video just to hammer that point home.
You are always having a conversation with yourself. The self-talk is going on relentlessly. We all do it. As an athlete, I'm encouraging you to pay greater attention to that self-talk, to be very intentional about developing positive self-talk. The more positive your self-talk can be, the more likely your performance will be what you also desire. How do we do that? It's important to recognize that when you start thinking negatively, it's important to have that mantra that you can imply or apply rather, that will help you to break that negative self-talk. A mantra is a word or phrase you repeat to yourself to elicit the desired emotional state. What's your mantra? That phrase that you would say to stop the negative talk and get you back on track with the positive self-talk. There are a million examples out there of cool mantras. It's most important that you have one that's personalized to you so that you can get your self-talk positive and release that which you know is in you and stop that negative self-talk from sabotaging your otherwise successful performance.
So to me, positive self-talk boils down to a phrase just like this: keep being good, keep getting them right. We're going to deal with adversity on the field. We're going to deal with situations where we're proven wrong, especially now in the replay era. And the way we respond to that is going to dictate whether we get the next one right. And that's always the goal, is get the next one right. So I've got to be able to keep myself in a positive frame of mind. I've got to control that inner monologue that I'm having and point it in the right direction to make sure that I'm getting the best out of myself for that next call. So keep being good, keep getting them right. Let's bring it all together here and figure out, what does this boil down to? Because we want to simplify this. We want to have a simple plan for ourselves. When I meet a moment of anxiousness on the field, what am I going to do? I'm going to take my deep breath, 2 in, 1 out. I'm going to say, it's okay that I'm anxious right now, but I know that I've got this. That's my simple plan for myself when it comes to defeating that moment of anxiety, to make sure that I can maximize my ability as an umpire. And let's close with this. How can we empower each other? How can we create an environment on a crew where everybody feels like it's okay to make a mistake, they're going to be forgiven and embraced and built back up for the next one? Because if you, as a crew chief or a member of a crew, can do that, people are going to want to see your name on their schedule, and your crews are going to perform to the best of their ability. So take this mindset preparation idea over the next couple weeks, work on your breath work, work on your self-compassion, have some positive self-talk, And then when it comes time to get out there for the first game of the year, you'll be your best self. Have a good one. Good luck. We're always here to support you. We'll see you next time.
So I think with that message, we always like Brian and kind of some of our other instructors to bring just something a little bit different to the table every year. I think we kind of go through some of the same things year after year, and I think it's interesting to maybe dive into some of the softer side of what we do out there. And Brian does a great job with that every year, giving us something a little bit different. So hope you'll consider those things as you kind of start your season, whether it be high school or over at LakePoint or whatever it might be. So as we move on in the program here, I'm going to turn it over to Wilson for an overview of what we've got going on at LakePoint, maybe a little bit more technically than just some of the broad thoughts that Todd and I had given here. So Wilson, take it away, bud.
Hey everybody, for y'all that don't know me, I'm Wilson Marler. I'm the Director of Operations for United here in Atlanta. So I just want to start by saying thank you all for making 23 such a successful year from an umpiring perspective and from a manager perspective, I guess. But for 24, a lot's going to stay the same, but we have a little bit of differences. Starting off with everything in the spring, including the 13 and 14-year-olds, is going to be hour 45. Like Alex said, it's going to be 65 a game, which is a nice little raise for everybody. Let's make sure we're talking to the coaches at the plate meetings, making sure that they know exactly what's going on so there's no confusion. We've talked to the PBR staff about trying to get the scoreboards to say hour 45 instead of 2 hours. We will still be keeping a clock on the field, preferably the base umpire. Moving into the summer, like Todd said, we're completely sold out, guys. It's going to be an all hands on deck summer. It's going to be fun. We're going to have really good baseball, really good teams, and a lot of good learning opportunities for these newer guys that are coming on to us. On that note, I want to say to the older people, like Rudy mentioned, let's continue to be a mentor on and off the field and really help these newer umpires to try and become better people and better umpires, as we have done in the past. Let's just continue to do that. We're going to continue to provide hotels at $10 a night. If you are going to need them coming from out of town, please just let me know as early as you can. The earlier, the better, so I can book you and try and keep you in the same room. Try and keep as little bit of travel from you as possible. Other than that, guys, I've talked to Rebecca, and she's the manager of the PBR side of things and the LakePoint staff for operations. And we're going to try and get some water coolers brought out to the locker room, the same ones that we have the ice brought with. So bring something to fill up water with. It's going to be a whole lot easier on us instead of continually replenishing the mountain of water bottles. We start back at LakePoint on the 18th with Sunday only tournaments, but our first full weekend is going to be March 1st. Y'all, please get into Arbiter and keep your availability up to date. Let's get in there and get the blocks going. Make sure I can't schedule you if you can't work. Nothing is worse than that. One of the biggest changes that I'm going to bring this year is we're going to implement an ejection report to travel baseball. They do this in Indianapolis with Derek and Donnie, and it works really well. It's not only to track us, but it's to track the coaches and the organizations the coaches are a part of to better help not just us, but the PBR staff as well. Other than that, guys, make sure we're keeping a profile picture in Arbiter so I know who you are. If you're new to me, it helps to see a face so I can put a face with your name. And that's really all I have for that. we're going to have the East Cobb Academy League. Todd mentioned that. That starts this Saturday, actually. It's going to be paid every 2 weeks through Every, as well as Sunbelt. We're going to have that again this year, and it's going to be $100 a game and is also going to be paid every 2 weeks. If y'all do have an issue on the field or off the field at LakePoint, please bring that up with me. Try and stay away from bringing it up with the PBR staff. They have a whole lot going on. Let me fight the fights that I need to be fighting, and y'all continue to put the great product on the field, because at the end of the day, we're there for a customer service. We're there for the coaches. We are there for the players, and we want to do our best to show our best self. Guys, just wrapping up here, just want to say another thank you to everybody. Let's keep doing the right thing. Let's keep being a better umpire. Thanks, everybody.
So, Todd, I'm going to turn it back over to you to set some direction on I don't know if the uniform standards you want Wilson to run through, and then Kate a little bit to talk about how to get stuff, or how we're doing that here.
We can do both. I'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit, and just I want everybody to understand we need everybody to comply with a United hat. Okay. Kate's going to get on and tell you how you can get one through there. We're going to have some on site, but we need everyone to have a United hat. Look, I get it. If, you have a certain hat that you wear behind the plate, that's fine, but we don't need someone else's logo on our hats at LakePoint or at East Cobb or working a Sunbelt game. We need a United hat on. We don't need anyone else's logos on our uniforms. I realize that sometimes it gets cold and the only, umpire jacket that you have is your college groups. We probably have a jacket in that locker room that will fit you. We do not need to be on the field working with someone else's logos on our uniforms. Okay. I took a whole lot of shots across the bow about that from other people across the city last year. And, we're just not going to do it. So don't put Wilson or myself or whoever may be there as a supervisor in a position to tell you, man, you cannot go on the field that way. Okay. Other than that, invest in yourself, invest in some equipment, invest in some new stuff. I'm going to give Kate a few minutes to talk about what we have, how you can get it, and that type moving forward. If y'all don't know Kate, Kate's our director of merchandise. She's based out of New Jersey. Fortunately, we had her down last year during the 3-umpire camp in the fall, and she brought some off-field stuff with her. But hopefully we'll get to see her at some point during the late spring, early summer. So, Kate, go ahead.
Hey guys, my name's Kate Galante. As Todd said, I'm based out of New Jersey. For about a year now, I've been the director of apparel for United's sister company, United Tri-State, up in northern New Jersey. So I'm really excited to bring this operation to you guys here at United. As for on-field apparel, the basic stuff, everything is Smitty brand. We have short sleeve and long sleeve uniform shirts, black and blue with the panel. We have the convertible quarter zip jacket, which isn't very heavy, but you can take off the sleeves. You can wear pullovers underneath of it if you prefer. They do run a little bit big in case any of you guys don't have, you haven't tried them on before. We also have the full zip thermal fleece jacket, which I have one right here. If you're looking for something more warm, it won't have a logo on it, but it has the gray panels, fleece on the inside. It's heavy, it looks nice. So that is available on our website, but that we do not keep stock. So just so you're aware, if you do go ahead and order that, allow for a little bit of extra time to receive it, because I need to go back and order it from Smitty, receive it, and then turn around and ship it out to you. We also have combo plate and base pants. I don't keep those in stock either. Usually we just have some left over, but if you're looking for a specific size that we do not have online, feel free to go ahead and shoot me an email and we can make that happen. Other uniform items that go underneath of your uniform, we have the blank mock neck short sleeve shirts. We have the United logo embroidered mock neck short sleeve shirts, as well as a United logoed crew neck compression shirt. The blank mock necks and the United logo mock necks are selling out really quickly. So make sure that you guys go ahead and grab those while you still can. In terms of hats, we have the standard 6-stitch hat, and we also just recently added the 4-stitch hats, so those are available as well now too. In terms of off-field hats, we have a red, white, and blue flex fit, and we have some trucker hats as well. And then as for our off-field apparel, we have some training shorts, a short sleeve dry fit t-shirt with a hood on it, and a long sleeve dry fit t-shirt. As the season goes on, we will be adding some new products, so make sure that you stay in touch for those. How to stay updated with our new product launches, any giveaways that we may do, stuff like that. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Both accounts are United Umpires Apparel. Thanks, Todd. How to contact me. So email is best. I've had a couple of guys who send me messages on our social media accounts, which is okay, but it might take me a little bit more time to get back to you that way, just because I'm not checking those as frequently as I'm checking my email. So if you can, try to shoot me an email so I can get in touch with you as quickly as possible. I also wanted to touch on what to do if you need some type of rushed order or an overnight order. Don't go ahead and put the order through our website. Just shoot me an email so I can send you an invoice and I can turn it around and get it out to you right away with the appropriate shipping. As for our website, it is linked at the bottom here, and everything is broken up into categories. We have off field, on field, and hats. So you guys can find whatever you need there. And as I said, if you're looking for something that we do not have on the website, if we're out of your size, you're looking for something specific, just shoot me an email and I can help you out. And if anyone has any questions for me, you guys can drop in the chat. Thanks, Todd, for dropping that link in there. But other than that, that's all I have for you guys.
Thanks, Kate. Really appreciate it. Just to reiterate, 6-stitch United on-field hats will still be available in all our locker rooms. So if that's the hat you're looking for, we will have it in the locker rooms at LakePoint, Grand Park, Creekside. But many of the other items, just on the website, especially the 4-stitch hats. We are not going to bring 4-stitch hats to each of the locations. So that was a big item that many people asked for in the past. We are stocking them. It's just too hard to stock them on site. So if you do want one, get it ordered so that you have it in time for working the plate with the shorter bill there. So, but 6-stitch hats still on site for those of you who are gonna need those coming up here real shortly. Todd, what else you got on uniforms? You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Hey, unmute. There we go. That's pretty much everything I've got with uniforms. Look, we made a decision roughly a year, well, almost a year ago today, or a few days past, that we were going to take this on and bring this in-house to be able to better serve you as the umpire. Kate's working really hard to give us an opportunity to get you stuff in a really timely manner. We're trying to control the cost, and we're listening to you guys about what potentially you want from an off-field and an on-field product. So, don't hesitate to email Kate. Try and like and follow on all of the socials and that stuff, but that's about all I've got on that.
Wilson, we're going to shoot it back over to you. Communication, leadership. There he is.
All right, everybody. So on the communication side of things, please, if you're going to email me, that's fine, I guess, but make sure it's detailed and honestly directly to the point where I can look at it and know what I need to do, know what I need to fix, know how I can help you in the situation. Same goes with a phone call or a text. Just make sure it's to the point. And if you do get my voicemail, which you probably will, especially during the summertime, it's crazy. Please leave a detailed message. Don't just say your name and give me a call back. I need it to be a little more specific to where I can try and just get it done before I give you the call back. I want to fix the problem before it really becomes one, guys. And when I do call back, please make sure that you answer me if you can. Don't look at it and just put it down in your pocket. I talked about it earlier. If you have an issue at LakePoint, please bring it up with me. I really want to stress that. Don't address anything negative with the PBR staff. They're there to run the tournament. I'm there to run the umpires. Let me do my job. And let me fight the fights that y'all don't need to fight. Moving on to the scheduling side of things, you need to keep your availability up to date. You'll hear me say that every day you're in the locker room. Keep your availability up to date. There will be an option to put in a game report. And y'all that work in Marietta, you are used to putting in a game report. Please don't. There's no need to do it. There just is no need to fill out a game report. If I send you an assignment, either accept it or decline it as soon as you can. Don't let it sit there. Just get it over with. If you can't do it, you can't do it. It is what it is. I'm going to send you a text and say, please update your availability. If you have any conflict in the schedule that you have been sent or that you haven't been sent, I'm always just a call away. Reach out, and I will do everything I can to fix the schedule to fit you the best that it can. And one little thing in Arbiter, make sure you go in and fix your filters where you can see all of your games, not just your games for that week, because I will be scheduling at some point in times 2, 3 weeks out. So just make sure you're able to see the game so you can accept or decline them quickly. That's all I really have on the scheduling and communication side of things, guys. And I'm going to swing it back to Alex.
Thanks, Wilson. Yeah, one of the things, Wilson.
Alex, let me jump in real quick.
Okay.
I got one thing I want to say, and it's kind of beating a dead horse, but understand during the spring, we're going to have stuff at East Cobb. During the summer, we've got the Sun Belt. We've got potentially 8 to 10 off-sites. So when you do communicate and you say, I've got a ball game on Tuesday, I've got 10-12 on Tuesday, the 24th of June. That's great, but please tell us that it's at LakePoint on field 8 or field 10 or at, Georgia Highlands or wherever it may be. So we don't have to go back and look and find that. Okay. When we're in that situation, the more information you can give us, the easier it's going to be for us to fix that. So that's really the only thing else that I have. Go ahead, Alex.
Thanks, Todd. Yeah, one of the things Wilson talks about that is so important, and this applies to everywhere. We know your phone's in your hand, in your pocket. There are critical times when we need to get in touch with you, and that might be somebody running late or a change right around game time. So we know you got them. Please pick them up when we call. Please return text. That stuff really helps. I mean, if Wilson's got to deal with a change and he can get to you right away, we can get a lot of things done. If we don't have the phone on or we're not getting a response, it gets more and more difficult. Before I kind of end here for the night and let everyone get back to their day or night, I want to say thank you to all of the umpires, but I also want to say thank you to all of the assigners in the area that support us, especially Michael Bates. We couldn't do what we do if we didn't have the cooperation that goes into trying to work with schedules, work around schedules, create situations where umpires can go from a high school game to LakePoint or vice versa. Same thing for certain college assigners in the area, Mike McCrae being one of them. Just helping us create those situations where umpires can maximize and everybody can use an umpire on a day to try to, allow the umpires to make the most money, but also allow these complexes, these colleges, these high schools to be as filled as they possibly can. So, Michael, thank you as always. And I know certainly Todd and Wilson are the ones you work with the most, but thank you very much from me and from the umpires and from those guys. Todd, did you have any closing thoughts before I close it out here?
Just looking forward to 24. Looking forward to seeing a lot of y'all smiling faces. Really think about what Brian said in his video. I know I'm the world's worst at I will scream and yell, and maybe to get my point across. Some of you in training got to hear me be a little loud this past Saturday. I would not yell and I would not scream if I didn't care. So work with us, help you be the best umpire that you can be. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a great year. And thanks very much for all of y'all's help.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks for everyone on the admin side who joined us tonight. Hope that there was some good information for everybody, a little bit of learning from Brian, and we're looking forward here to 2024 and to get started in the Atlanta area. So good luck to everybody. Is there one more in the chat here? Hang on. Oh, that was just Michael. Thanks, Michael. So good luck to everybody. We're excited to get started. If you need anything, please reach out to Wilson in LakePoint, and he will certainly direct as needed. Those guys are all there to help you. Kate's there to help you, and certainly I'm here to help as well. But start with Wilson and run from there. So good night, everybody. Good luck, and we'll see you on a ball field soon.